four guys.
So
they're watching the Knicks or they're helping out their wives.
what do we chop liver, the four guys here?
Economy. Okay, let's go. It's always the good guys that lose. Amar Rabba, yeah? About halfway down, Samach Aleph and Aleph. Yeah. So the first part of the daf it goes pretty fast. After that, it gets more complicated. Amar Rabba, Lamali Takasav Rahmana, La Beribis, La Begezel, La Baina. So there's three different isurim, right, of stealing people's money. There's ribis, which is interest. Gezel is obviously stealing. And Aina is what we call, what do you call it? Usury, fraud. Ripping people off. So tricha, so we need it. The ikas, we need all three. The ikas, we want to lab ribis, mishum de chidushu. Ribis is a chiddush, right? Because you're not taking anything. The guy's voluntarily, he's voluntarily paying, and then the second part is the afilu b'loiva asur rachmana. Even the loiva, even the borrower, who's the one that's getting messed over, right? Somebody who borrows money. The one who borrows money is getting messed over, yet he's over on an isser too, right? By Aina, the guy paying the extra money is not over on an isser. Certainly, somebody who gets stolen from is not over on an isser, right? So so there's a chiddush. So therefore, you wouldn't learn out from there because the Rahman la begezel mishum de bal korche. By gezel, it's against his will. But I know the guy. Why the guy do an issur? He willingly paid the extra money because he didn't even know there's such a thing that he could be Michael. Meaning that doesn't mean any. Michael doesn't mean to be Michael like, oh, I'll let him rip me off. No, he doesn't even know that he got ripped off to even do something about it. All right, so that's why each one of these three are chiddush. So Gemara says, okay, so chadam echad lo yas, you can't learn one from the other. Tesi chadam itarti, so let's learn out one from the other two, right? Hey Tesi. So Gemara says, which one should we learn out? Lo lich the brachman la beribis. So don't say a la beribis. The Tesi mehanach and learn it from the others. Malahanach shekain shaloi midas. The other ones were shaloi midas, right? Meaning, don't write by ribis and do it by Aina. So Aina, you're getting ripped off, you don't know about it. You get stolen, a lot of times you don't know about it either. That's certainly not during the time of the stealing. Time of ribis to be daiti, but ribis, the guy voluntarily does it. So therefore, you can't learn out from that from Aina and Gezel. Okay, so so don't write by Aina, but Tesi mehanach. And learn it out from Gezel and Ribis. Ribis and what do you call it, Geneva or Gezela are not. It's not doing when you're doing business. So male, it's a whole different thing, right? I know it's derech mekach chumem, as Rashi says. So don't write a la begezel, but teisim mehanach. And learn it out from these. The parachta, because what are you going to ask? Mala ribis, shekain chiddush. You're going to say that ribis is a chiddush. I know techiach. I know will prove it, right? Because I know it's not a chiddush. Mala I know shekain lo yado macha, but I know has a different chumrah that he knows about it. He doesn't know about it to be Michael. So ribis techiach. Ribis proves it. Because radin lo rizeh kerizeh, lo rizeh kerizeh. That's not a shavah shaben shekain goizloi. The equal tzad is that he's taking something away from somebody else. Afani avi gezel. I'm also going to bring any sort of gezel, right? Meaning, so now we do have a limit. We could learn out from. We're going to learn it out from ribis and aina. Meaning, if you can't charge somebody interest, and if you can't rip somebody off, so then we know for sure you cannot steal from him, right? That's a pretty straight shot, right? That's pretty straightforward. Yeah, fine. So now the Meister now. Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't ask you this on a public forum, but now, especially since you also have half a Stella, you're half a Stella Rav. You're Rabbi Gronin Shul every other week. So are you going to speak to the owner of that store or the rest of, or the VOD about what the price
Do I
is?
know? Yes, I would. I hope to speak to the owner of that store, but I only have to speak to him half. I only have to have half a conversation. I only have a rabbi. Yes, I'm pretty friendly with him, so I'm gonna ask him like how you talking. I'm gonna believe that. I hope to. I hope to. Yes, but anyway, the main point here the Gemara is saying is that the Ino and Ribis, right? We can learn out that for sure you're not allowed to steal. Fine. So Gemara says we're 3 lines up from the bottom of the on Samach Aleph Amud Aleph. So Amri, Hachanami. So we say, yeah, it's true. Okay, so then Elalab begezel lameli. So why do I need a lab by gezel? I mean, what's it coming to teach you? If you can learn it out from my na and ribis, then what do you need by gezel? So we said l'kayvish schar sachir. It's coming to somebody. Literally means if you're squeezing the schar of your worker, meaning that you have to pay your worker on time. Right? Where do we have those dinim? Bava Kama somewhere you have to pay them on time. Right? So Gemara asks, that's a beferish pasuk that you have to pay your worker on time. It says lo sashik sachir ani ve'evyan. Don't hold off. Don't put I don't know exactly how you touch lo sashik to give pressure on a sachir, an ani, and an evyan. Right? Meaning you got to pay them on time. So what do you need? So now we have 2 psukim. So Gemara answers, yeah, lav or lav, shnei lavin. We're going to give you 2 lavin. Okay, so Gemara says, "Look me beribis vayno," and let him say that it's talking about ribis and ayno, but lav or lav shnei lavin. Meaning, so why do you have to go say that we don't need a pasuk by Gezel? So therefore, the pasuk by Gezel is coming to teach it's coming to tell us that you have to pay your workers on time. Okay, so if you have to pay your workers on time, so then we already have a pasuk with that. So we say there's 2, so it's coming to tell us 2 psukim. Good. So why don't you say it's 2 psukim for ayna, 2 psukim for ribis? For lav, meaning saying you should be over 2 lav on that. Why do you have to go to a third sub? Meaning we're lumping ribis, ayna, and gezela together. Right. So why do we have to jump to a 4th isser? Just say that it's talking about ribis or ayna, and you're over on 2 isurim. Look, maybe ribis ayna v'lav lav shnei lavin. So the Gemara says because it's something that's learned from its inyan on Tamid Beis now. Ubinyana desachir ksiv, and the din by Gedezela is said by Geneva, right? So Mamela, since it's said by Geneva, therefore we're going to keep it. We're going to keep it that the gezel is going to be referring to paying a worker on time. Okay, so then the Gemara says loy signoivu because of Rahman Alamali. Why does the Torah need to write loy signoivu? Right? Why do you have a lot for that? So the Gemara answers, look at the Tanya loy signoiv hamanas lamekat. Even if you steal, just to be mitzar. Rashi make it is tzar, meaning you don't want to actually steal from him, but even if you're just doing it to annoy him. I was thinking sort of like what I do to my nephews on Yom Tiv. You walk by and you take off their yarmulke, right? So I take off the yarmulke. Now I'm a ganav. Oh, I'm just not really stealing. I'm doing it to annoy them. Well, it sounds like I got a problem. Right? L'chayra, right? You take a kid's, candy. Oh, I'm taking candy, right? I don't know. I don't know. that's one of the Hurei Tshuva from the Yom Tov based on this Gemara.
It's called Geneva to annoy somebody?
That's what it's saying. Even if it's Geneva, why not?
I mean,
that's what the Gemara is saying. If you're only stealing from him to annoy him, to be mitzar him.
That's called
Geneva?
Geneva?
You're doing it as only as a joke. That's not really a tsar, but...
Is that a Geneva? No, I'm asking, is that a Geneva?
It is a Geneva.
Okay.
It's not a Geneva?
I just said the whole pasuk is for it.
Okay. Saying it's the
You're not I think what Zev is saying is you're not intending to steal it. You're not intending to keep it. You're just playing a joke with him.
Oh, so here, I'm reading. I have the link here to the Shulchan Aruch. The lashon of Shulchan Aruch and Choshen Mishpat is Aser Lignaiv Afilu Kol Shehu Din Torah Aser Lignaiv Afilu Derech Schaik. Even as a joke, Afilu Amanas Lahachser. Even that you Amalas Achser. Oikidei l'shalem tashume kefil. That's the next Gemara. Oikidei l'tzare, meaning the Shulchan Aruch actually adds schaik and almanas lahachzer to it. So, oh, good. So maybe it's taka not included in the Gemara because then he says tsar. I was thinking that it's part of tsar, but the Shulchan Aruch is not including. But he says it. He says to do it outside is a problem. So there goes that.
I agree. Correct.
I'll have to figure out another way to bond with my nieces and nephews, if that's what you could call it. Right. Anyways, fine. And lois signoi is almanas l'shalom teshume kefil. This is a very interesting one. You have a guy that you want to give him money. You want to give him tzedakah. He doesn't want to take tzedakah. So what do? You steal something from him. You admit it now. Yeah, and then you admit that you stole it. No, you don't admit. You don't admit. Then Bezdin nails you, and then you pay back kefil. Givaldik. Now you got yourself. Now you did a chesed. Right? Even that's considered also. Right? So even though you're doing it for his sake.
The usually hashev tshiva is a tshuva. Mashma that for this it would not be a tshuva because it's on the nas for that.
Yeah, that maybe. Okay, I don't know. Okay, yeah. Anyway, so Amrle Rav Yemer Rav Ashi Lav Lekazar Rahman b'Mishkala Islam. Lisa, now that what's another type of fraud? Another type of fraud is mishkalis. You have illegal weights. What do you call it? Weights and measures and what? Isn't there a government? Don't they have
Bureau weights and measures?
I'm saying even the United States government has something for weights and measures. No,
yes. Our stores, the scales are done every year. Yes,
but a bureau of the weight. What a bureau of weights and measures. Okay, so the same thing. So that's another scam. So what do you need that for? That's also good name. Lav because I want to mishkalas lamali amrlei the time in mishkalaisa b'melach. You need it to. Because if somebody, he doesn't mess with the weights, but what he does is he pulls a shtick and he puts it into salt, right? I guess salt Rashi says salt makes it go, makes it heavier. I guess that's the same as a person, right? You get full of salt, you get bloated. So maybe whatever. So that's an illegal way of doing it, even though you're not actually messing with the mishkalas. So when it says Hainu gezel ma'alyu, that's straight gezel, right? So when it says Lavra love mishas asiya, you're over even from when you make, right when you out whatever you mess with the weight, even if you don't actually rip the guy off.
What does that mean? What does that mean? It's machshava. I'm already over.
You're not machshava. You actually did a ma'isa.
You did a ma'isa of Geneva?
No, you did a ma'isa of messing with your weights.
Right, but you didn't know Meister Geneva. So why you?
It's allowed to have the weights.
It's allowed the weights.
Yeah, it's allowed to have the weights in your house. Not using it to even have it in your house is a problem.
What's the why? What did I do wrong?
This is what it's coming to say that you can't you
what
can't
was
use your own weights.
What was the
being overlifted even to
yourself is us, sir.
Can you be? Sounds like the Olam like that kasha Rabban.
If I load a gun and I don't shoot it, so that means
no, but that's different. Yeah, there's an isser. Yeah, there's an isser. I'll tell you a mashal. Can you keep tray for food in your house? Can you keep an untitled kli in your house?
That's lifnei.
What?
That's lifnei.
For how long? How long? What's the time limit? You have to too. What's the time limit that you have to tovel it?
What do you mean? I'm working in my business. Nobody's in charge of my business. I did it. I come at night after I close the shop, and I do the weights. And that's thinking that tomorrow I'm going to play with the weights, and then I'm karate overnight, and then the next morning I change my mind. So I already got the issa from the night before. What's happening here?
Yes, there's an isser to have weights that are illegal to make them.
What is the isser that I did?
Because you're not allowed to have illegal weights in your possession, or you're not allowed to make illegal weights.
Maybe it might be like a gezerah deraisa sort of, so that you
It doesn't
won't
say
come
it's
to
The,
use.
the Gemara talks about maybe you have to put sitters on your dollar converse regard them in your drawer that you never wear. You have to put sitters on them. No,
Right. Yeah. I think it does. It says that we pass. I don't remember.
no, I don't think we're passing you, but there's a havamina that you should have sitters on them.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's the shot. You're not allowed to make. You're not allowed to make illegal weights. It's an issur. I don't understand why that's such a shredder thing.
I wasn't over on the lav.
Yes, you were. There's a law to make illegal weights.
If I make illegal weights, because why is it illegal? What's illegal about it?
Huh?
The Torah says it's illegal. What do you mean? What's illegal about it?
It's illegal if you want to steal.
No, the Torah says it's illegal to make crooked weights. There is no other reason to make crooked weights, but whatever.
But I didn't do the mitzvah. Since when in the Torah?
You did a ma'isa. You made a crooked weight. That's the issur.
You didn't do anything with the crooked weight.
So what?
So what? The Torah gives you an
No,
issue.
no, but that's what we're saying. The Torah is telling you
issur
can't
is
make
making a
crooked weight.
crooked weight.
I ask you, if I load a gun to shoot somebody,
But that's a different thing.
Yes, it's called v'leisasim damim b'beisecha. That's not a
That could be.
crooked weight.
Well, I don't know if you
Yeah,
feel.
if you use the crooked weight to go steal money from somebody, that's a different issur. It's a different issur. But
Right, that's what it
Right.
says.
they're not connected. You can do low 6-0 without crooked weights. I know it happens all the time to me.
I don't know. I think it's yeah. Anyways, okay, weiter. But what are we up to? Yes, the Torah Rabbana. Loi sasu.
Now you'd have a Yid works for the Bureau of Weights and Measures. Is he allowed to have bad weights in his house as part of his job? Okay, see, maybe somebody will text you that.
A what?
The guy Yid works for the Bureau of Weights and Measures, so he has bad scales in his house. That's part of his job. What he checks on, part of his whole, halach yelech is to have these kind of scales in his house.
I hear you say, Taka. I don't know. Is that? Yeah.
Sounds like a slippery slope kind of thing. Can someone who deals in art have a statue of a person in his house? It's not his.
I don't know.
Right.
Cash and I only look like a rabbi. I don't know anything, as you've realized over the years.
Anyways, okay.
Better than me. I don't look like a rabbi.
That's what we're up to Torah Rabbana. Okay, so loy sas alav mishpat b'mida b'mishkol v'masura. So you shouldn't mess up with mishpat in judgment, in measurements, and mishkal is weights. Masura is liquid measurements. Right? B'mida zumadidas karka. That's the measure karka. What is that? Shaloyim doid le'echad b'yemais acham le'echad b'yemais akshamim. You shouldn't measure for one person in the sun and one in the rain. Why? Because it's Rashi says, I guess also like humidity can make things stretch, etc., right? So that's if you do for one person, meaning you're doing neighbors and they're trying to figure out what's it called? What do you call when you do this? Survey, right? You're surveying. So you shouldn't survey for one in rain and one in sun because you're not going to get the same measurements. The mishkal like we said, you shouldn't soak them in salt. You shouldn't measure with. There's another scam that they do in the groceries. No, they what's it called? Like when you pour a beer, you have the.
They spritz all the vegetables.
Well,
And osmosis makes the water go into the vegetables.
No, I don't know about that. I don't know if that makes a measurement. It makes the vegetables look better.
No, it goes in. It goes in. It makes them heavier.
No, I'm talking about if you pour something.
Talking about the coleslaw juice? What are you talking about?
Yeah, the coleslaw juice. But you make it like
the froth. It's because of the froth on the beer.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But you're talking about the coleslaw juice?
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm saying you pour a beer and you give a certain amount of beer, and then I don't know if this has to do with, don't they do this like in the cereal boxes? Things might have settled, right? So that because you're selling it by weight, so they're trying to tell you don't think it's a volume measurement. No, now we're not going into matzahs, okay? We're not going. We're on to the sphere now, okay? I'm saying, but it's not really if it's a weight measurement, I'm saying then it's not an issue because you make sure you give it the right weight. But if it's a volume measurement and they pump it up with something, like Rachel was saying with the water, then that would be an issue.
It's like a good Gemara for Sphira. It's all about counting.
Oh, okay, very good. It's a little stretch, but okay. But then goes about that
was the last line, the stretch.
Yeah. That's a question whether you got us that or not. Now, if a Masura, which is a measurement of 33 or 30 or 36, right? That's shisha. Yeah, shisha. It's either shloisha or shisha. Hikpid alav Torah. The Torah is makbid on it, meaning that's a very small amount, right? Kavachayim lehin v'chatzi hin u'shlisha sahin u'reviyis sahin. The loig v'chatzi lug v'reviyis lug, right? Then kol shekem with there, you're going to the froth there is going to make a big difference, right? Okay, so Amar Rava. Lamali the cousin Rahmana Yitzias Mitzrayim beribis. Now here you go, mamish. I mean, it's really yesterday's daf, but it works. It works either way, right? The last day Pesach. Can't make it up, right? That's for sure. Gershon, I'm masking to you on this one. Yeah, so Lamali the cousin Rahmana Yitzias Mitzrayim beribis. Why do you need to say Yitzias Mitzrayim beribis? Yitzias Mitzrayim gabi tzitzis. Yitzias Mitzrayim b'mishkalis. Why do you need Yitzias Mitzrayim there? I differentiated between a drop of zera that from Bechar and not a Bechar, who had to save the Yidden, right? Anihu she'asili para. I am the one who's going to take punishments. Mimisha toila ma'isa benachri, somebody whose toila is money by a guy, umalva isam liyisol beribis, and he lends it to ribis. Meaning you have a broker. You have a what do you call it? Hard money loan guy. And he says, I'm not lending you the money from my own. I'm lending you a guy's money. I'm just the middleman, right? So there's no isaribis from a guy. So the way he gets away with it is he says, oh, it's a guy's money, and he's lying. So Hashem says the way I knew the tipa between a tipa of a yid and a guy, I also know who's ripping people off. I also know who's hiding his mishkalas and salt. And somebody who, instead of doing tcheles, puts kala ilan, which is some sap from a tree or something like that, that makes it look blue. Va'aymer tcheles, when he's saying that it is tcheles. Fine. Ravina, so that's a pshat in Rabbi, which is very interesting. Without getting into, I'm sure the Olam heard enough Yitzias Mitzrayim Bertelach. I don't have a word to say, anyways. But that's the thing, to be mafchim between a tipa from the Bechors. That's the only thing that the Rabbi Shalom. I mean, there's a lot of things that went on in Yitzias Mitzrayim that we could say that Hashem differentiated, right? The blood, the Yid, right? The river was bloody, the water was blood for the guy and for the Mitzrayim and not for the Yidden.
No, this was different. This he was able to tell if it was a firstborn.
Yeah, meaning I understand, but I'm saying it's not.
Those were outright. This was hidden. The tipa was hidden. Because you didn't know if this guy was a Bechor from this man.
From the
or
father, from the mother, because they were all messing around.
Right.
Right. So you don't know. But I'm saying the Rabbeinu Shalom, it's not that hard.
Okay, but this is the hidden. This is what the point is. The hidden.
I guess you have to say, okay.
Is the Vart the Havchana or the Ani?
What?
Is the Vart the Havchana is the Chiddush or the Ani is the Chiddush? The Eibishter said, I myself am the one who was Mavkin, the Tibush of the fire. I myself am the one who's going to punish the one who does the Kala Ilan and the salt on the Mishkalis and all the ribbis.
You mean because it's going on he himself?
Yeah. Ani, the Ani, not the Shemavkin.
Okay, maybe.
Be more scared. I'm not going to leave it up to chance. There's no way you can say, okay, I'll take a chance. No, I'm gonna be Pairea.
Yeah, that's yeah. I mean, okay, I don't know, but that's really not going on the
That is the Kiddush we said in the Psukim in the Haggadah. Ani v'loi shliach, ani v'loi malach, ani v'loi saraf, ani hu v'loi acher. That's Vaymakas B'chayris.
Yeah.
That is the typical B'chayris. The Kiddush is the Ani.
No, you started the daf or you didn't?
Not today's. Why?
He's darshan about the Agoda. I imagine you didn't start or you finished.
That's how you. I guess you really just. How embarrassed we said that this is like you can't make it up. That's the last day, and we're darshaning the Agoda. Yeah, very good. Anyways, okay.
I can make Havdalah on Scotch or no?
Why not?
Parrots halachas after Shir.
Wait,
Scotch overrides, Reb Zev.
when is the
Scotch
Scotch
overrides.
his again? When is the Scotch his again? Does he have to
It's
wait?
already.
Time?
It's already. It's bought back.
How much time after?
I don't know.
Totally, it's 10 after 10, you Michiganer.
I don't want to tell him. I don't want to tell the Olam that even if it's not bought back, we say Hefker Bezdin Hefker, and we can take it back anyways. But that'll totally open up a whole new can of worms. So we're not. We're not going to go down that road. Okay, right. Ravina Ikla Lasura de Paras. So Ravina traveled to Surah de Paras. Amalei Rav Chanina Masura de Paras and Ravina. So Chanina Masura said to Ravina, Yitzis Mitzrayim because of one Gabi Shrotzin Lamali. Why does it say Yitzis Mitzrayim by Shrotzin? Amalei Amar Kadosh Baruch Anihu Shevchanti. I am the one that Shevchanti ben Tipa Shavachar Letipa She'ena Shavachar. Ani Asli Para Mimisha Ma'arav Kirvei Dagam Tameyan, Kirvei Dagam Tahir and Michael Yisrael. I'm going to take payment back. I'm going to punish anybody who mixes not kosher fish with kosher fish because that's very easy to be done. And then he goes and sells it to Yisrael. Yeah. So he says, my kasha wasn't that. My kasha was, why has he changed the lashon to hamayla? Hamayla, because why here does it say hamayla as opposed to the normal who took you out, who yatzam in Mitzrayim, right? So Amalei, it depends how you again a gear say ilmalei loy or ilmalei with a yud. The malay halisas yisomi Mitzrayim ela b'shvil davar zeh. Had I taken Klal Yisrael out of Eretz Yisrael just with this shein metamen b'shrotzim, that they shouldn't become tummy with shrotzim, that would be enough. Now go figure how does that fit into the dayenus, right? We say that Hashem Elohim Tzionu, and say, okay, we're getting into Vertluf, but then Hashem is saying, if I would have just brought you out, what?
He would have just given us shrotzim.
Well,
very, very strange.
No, but it's because Dayenu from the Haggadah, right, is us saying why we, if Hashem didn't give to us. This is from Hashem's angle. No, this is not Hashem's angle. Had I not
What
taken
is it saying? Say what it's saying. What
it's
is
saying
it
that Hashem is saying that had I not taken the Yidden out of Mitzrayim and only so that they shouldn't eat shrotzim, it would have been enough. Meaning, forget the Torah, I would have. When you think about it, it's wild, right? So I'm sure there's a lot of people that are going to say to Hashem, "Why taka? Why taka? Why didn't you just give us that one issa and let's move on?" Right? But that's what it's that's what it's saying. Go figure. I don't know. I don't understand it. Right? Meaning if just for the issur of not eating shrotzim would be enough.
Does this mean shmoina shrotzim?
It means anything, I think. Anything in the sheretz category.
All dvarim tmeim or shmoina shrotzim? Because that would be even a bigger chiddush. It would be 8 things that nobody in their right minds really wants to eat anyway, and still it would be kedai to bring Klal Yisrael out of Mitzrayim.
That's a good point. That's probably part of the chiddush. That's and we wouldn't do it either, right? Yeah, I hear. I hear that's a good word. I like that. Yeah. Okay, weiter. So what are you saying? So we take out the word. So we're saying the word it's leis hamayla that Hashem took out. So it's mashma that you're getting more schar for not eating bugs, and more schar than ribis, tzitzis, and mishkolos. Maybe this is what you mean. Maybe this is what you're saying. Right? Even though you don't get so much schar because it's disgusting, still you're going to get a lot of schar. Still, you're going to get a lot of schar for it.
It's interesting because in a sense you do get more schar. It's something that we don't want to do. In other words, I would want to do ribbis and tzitzis and mishpalas. I would not want to do shrotzim, but the schar is even. So essentially, I get more schar for not eating shrotzim than wearing tzitzis.
Well, no, meaning you should get less schar.
No, the kasha was, do you get more schar? You get more schar for not eating shrotzim than for tzitzis?
No, but
he says, no, even though you don't get more schar, you get even schar.
Right. Yeah. Okay, weiter. Anyway, so that's the Mitzrayim section of the tonight's daf. Fine. So now we're back into the heavy ribis sugyas. So when I asked, "Atu kol hani damrina," meaning so the Mishnah says that when what's considered ribis, so if you borrow peiros and if you lend peiros and then you take back more peiros, right? Or wheat or whatever it is. So the Gemara says, "Atu kalhani damrinan an hashta lav ribisu." Is all the other cases that in the Mishnah not ribis, meaning it says fezu tarbis. So means it's mashma only this last case is ribis. Anything is not ribis. So adkan shel Torah. What it means is until here is isur ribis midaraisa. Mikan ve'elach shel devreim. From here on in, it's only the rabbanon. Cheno marava adkan shel Torah. Mikan ve'elach shel devreim. Up until that point in the Mishnah, it's the Raisa, and then from there on it's the Rabbanon. Yeah, Adkan Yochin Rasha B'Yilbash Tzadik. Until here, the Rasha is literally means the Rasha is going to prepare it, and the Tzadik is going to wear it. So what does that mean? Rashi says that means is that a father can lend beribis, rip people off, and then but the kids can benefit from it. Adkan V'Sulai. It's only up until here, no more. Right? Meaning if they're allowed to keep ribis daraisa, so then the rabbanon they can't. Ela afilu adkan yochin rosh v'sadik. Meaning even the cases that are asur midrabbanon, that the Mishnah is going to say is still the father is going to die because of it. He's not going to get hana, but the kids will be able to get hana. Ad kan ribis kitzutza. One is considered ribis kitzutza. Avak ribis, and the rest is avak ribis, meaning ribis kitzutza literally means from katzutz, meaning the only ribis for the most part that's an issa deraisa if it was what do you call it, premeditated, meaning you lent the guy money and you tell him I'm only lending you $100 if you pay me back $110. That's premeditated, and the guy pays it back and he pays back the $110 when he's supposed to pay back the $100. That's premeditated. A ribis, that's issa deraisa. Everything else, for the most part, is ribis derabanan. Bikanvelach avak ribis. From there on, avak ribis means literally the dust of ribis. Fine. So Amar Rabbi Elazar, ribis katzutza yaitze b'dayanan. This is very negeya. Unfortunately, this halacha is very negeya. Ribis katzutza is yaitze b'dayanan, meaning if somebody was over on the issa deraisa of ribis, then the dayanim can make him pay back the ribis. But avak ribis ain't a yotze b'dayanim. Avak ribis is not. So most of the time, if somebody by mistake lent the ribis, if the ribis is a derabanan, then you don't have to. You don't have to. What do you call it? You don't have to give it back. Right? Yochanan Amar. Afilu ribis k'tzutza nami ena yotze b'dayanan. Rabbi Yochanan says he disagrees. He says even ribis k'tzutza doesn't go back. All right, you took my time to Rabbi Yochanan. Damakra b'neshech nasan b'sarbis lokach v'chay. If a guy gives ribis and he makes money, then lokach and he's going to live. Meaning somebody who lent the ribis is going to live. Lo yichya es kol ha'ta'evas ha'ela asa. He should not live because he's done all these tayevas by ripping off his fellow yid. Lemisa nita v'loy shavan. It's mashma that he's going to die, but he doesn't have to give it back. Meaning the pasuk is saying he's going to die, but he doesn't have to actually give it back. So that's a proof to Rabbi Yochanan. It says don't take ribis, and you should fear Hashem. You should be scared, but you should not do. But you don't have to give it back. Rava Amar, migufa de crush It's straight from the pasuk. Mais you must dama bayir. He says he should die, and his blood will be to him. Hokshu malvi ribis l'shev chidam. We make a hekesh between those that lend in ribis and those that spill blood, meaning murderers. Just like murderers don't. You can't give back somebody else's life. You kill somebody, it's not returnable. So if you lend ribis, you don't have to give the money back either. Okay, so we have three sources for why even ribis deraisa you don't have to pay back, which we don't pass the line. I'm not going to eat. So my time with Rabbi Elazar. Why does Rabbi Elazar say that deraisa the ribis goes back, the Rabbanan not? On to today's daf now. You have to live with your brother. Give him back his ribis so that he should live, right? So that's by ribis deraisa. Then we get into one of the most famous gemaras in Shas. Rabbi Yochanan, and Rabbi Yochanan, what does he do with the pasuk chayachicha imach? Again, Rabbi Yochanan is saying you don't have to give back the ribis, and I was saying from the pasuk that you do. Two people that are traveling, and one of them has a jug of water. If they both share it, they're going to die. Meaning there's only enough to give to one person to live. So if they share it, they're going to die. If one of them drinks it, he'll get to society where he'll be saved, and the other guy's going to die. So Darash ben Petura. Right? It's better that they should both drink and they should die. Both of them should die. And one of them should not have to see the misa of his friend. But Rabbi Kiva came and said, your life comes first. Many machlokes have happened because your life comes first. But this is obviously the source for all the Gemaras where you don't put your life in danger to save somebody else's life, etc., etc. Fine. Meisvei, so they had a kasha. Let's say a father.
This only applies by food?
No, anything. Anything. Huh?
Okay. My mom and us too.
Fine. It's hard to justify what that you should keep your money. Not money. You have to spend, right?
That's a Tyson somewhere. The Begashmias also. The other Rishonim hold not.
What do you mean?
The Chayecha Kainin, Begashmias.
Do I have to spend money on? Do I have to spend money on somebody?
What do you have to give tzedakah for?
I did already give tzedakah.
What do you have to give tzedakah for? For what reason?
You don't if you need it. You're stuck to your family.
You always need more money. Sorry, you always need more money.
No, want is different than need.
No, you always need more money. Living in America now, you never know when you need to take all your money and run away. Okay, and living in England now, maybe you have to run away tomorrow morning. Chas v'shalom. How do you know?
So then you stuck it to yourself, to your family. You're right.
A person should never put trust in their money.
Just said.
Right. Okay.
But this question comes all the time.
Well, we're learning it now. That's what we're talking about.
If somebody has to do something for a parent, does he take his money or his parents' money?
That's a separate drasha from Kibbutz Avayim.
That's Chayemecha. Let's say he can't do it. No?
No. It's a separate drasha. Only the parents' money. Uh-oh.
Did Aaron and Rabbi Stein go duke it out? Like, what happened there?
What happened?
But the two of them, like, not here anymore.
No, I think he got logged off. He's right back. He's back.
He's back on.
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody must have pulled out the internet. Anyways, I'm sorry. Am I back? Am I good?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. So Meisvei hiniach lemaviyim ma'isol ribis. If their father left them money from ribis, obviously yoidim shein shel ribis, even though they know it's ribis, einan chayim lahachzir. They don't have to give it back. Mashma ha'aviyim chayim lahachzir. Meaning only the kids, if they yarshin from their father who did ribis, so then their father they can't be. They can use it. Mashma that the father can't. So my answer is bedin hu davu nami like chayv lasa. The father is also not chayv to give it back. I did the kabbalah misni seifa. But since in the seifa the Brisa wanted to say nichlen avian para vitalis v'chol davar masuyim, if the father left them a para or a talis, a cow or a talis, and anything masuyim, meaning something that would be obvious that it was stolen, chayam lahachzim, when they covered aviyim, they have to give it back because out of respect for the father. Meaning, if they're going to walk around with this talis and this para, everybody's going to say, "Oh, their father ripped it off from somebody," and look at the kids using it. So it's a bezayin for the father. So Mamela, since it said it that way, so Tani Nami Reisha B'didu, it also said in the Reisha that they don't have to give it back. But really, the father doesn't have to give it back either. So when asked, are they really mechayev for cover of their father? If you have a nasi, you shouldn't curse out a nasi that's in your nation. But only a nasi who does the maisim of your nation. Right? We've discussed this many times, saying lashon hara, people that don't keep halacha, etc. So our answer is Kedamar of Pop, Rapinchas Mishmei the Rabba B'Shasa Tshuva. Somewhere where the father did Tshuva. Right? So Achanami B'Shasa Tshuva. He did Tshuva, so that's why they're supposed to give it back. But Enachanami, if the father didn't do Tshuva, they don't have to give it back. So Gemara says he also Tshuva, my boy Gabe. If he did Tshuva, so then why does he still have it? Why didn't he give it back? He wasn't able to give back the stolen items until he died. Okay. You want to ask another kasha. So crooks and those that lend the ribas out, even though they collect, they have to give it back. Gazlonin what's going on with Gazlonin? My alpha p shagavu ego. How do you have, even though they collected, right, that they have to give it back? Guzzle. If they stole it, they stole it. Eloi guzzle gazlana grizzle. And if they didn't steal it, are they considered gazlanim? They didn't steal it yet. Elaema gazlanin my niu malve ribis. So what it mean when it says gazlanim? It's talking about people that lend ribis. Avishagavu machzirin. Even though they already collected, they still give it back. So you see that people that lend beribis have to give it back. It's a kasher of Yochanan, so they don't have to give it back. So my answer is Tanai, the Tani, Rabbi Nechem, Rabbi Elazar, and Yaakov, Paitunas, Amalvis, Ves Ha'arev. They pater the lender and the guarantor. Kum asay. They're pater because they have a mitzvah asay. My kum asay. What does it mean they have a mitzvah asay? Meaning they can fix their avera by getting up and doing a mitzvah. What is it? La mishum damrina lehukumu aduro. We tell them get up and give it back. Michlal, the Tanakama Savra La B'nei Adurinu. So you see that the Tanakama holds they don't give it back. So you see it's a machloikas Tanaim, meaning here we're saying that there's Tanaim whether the Malva and the Orev are potter. So we're saying it's talking about ribis. So if the Tanaka, the second Tana holds that they're not mechuyev to give it back, that means the Tanakama holds they are mechuyev. So it's a machloikas Tanaim. So my answer is loy my kumase lekroya shtara. Not that they have to give it back. They have to tear up the shtar that says that they have to pay interest. My kasavar, ikasavar. So my ask, my kasavar shtar oimi legovas kagavay dami. If they hold that a shtar that's already meant to be collected is like it was corrected, they already did their isser, right? And once they did their isser, so then why shouldn't they be punished? They lent beribis, meaning there's a machlokes whether when you have a shtar, is that considered like it was already collected, right? Meaning even though the money wasn't given yet, but it's as if the money changed hands. So if you hold that, then these guys already got off him, whatever they lent beribis. Be lavka govidami, but if it's not if the shtar is not as if it was collected, then they didn't do anything wrong. So what do you mean that the kumvase is coming to fix it? So when that says shtar the shtar that's amur ligvois is not kagova. Kamash Malon, the summa milsi. What it's trying to tell us is that that putting the ripis onto somebody, meaning I don't know if it means force, but meaning once you get the guy to agree, then that's considered something. That makes sense. The Tanan ve'elu oivrim b'loisaseh. These are the ones that are over on a loisaseh by ribis. Hamalve, va'aloive, right? The lender, the borrower. Ha'orev is the guarantor. Va'edim and the edim. So bishlam akulu ovid maisa. So the lender, the borrower and the orev, they did a maisa. What did edim do? All they did was sign off on this shtar that the guy could collect interest. The summa milsi that since they were involved in saying, meaning if without these witnesses, this guy would not have a valid shtar that would put the interest loan onto this person. So the edim do have an active role in it. Shmamina, and that's what we learn from this. Fine. Amar of Safra, Kol Shilu B'dinei Matzian Malvel. There's a very interesting rule here. Rav Safra says, Kol Shilu B'dinei Matzian Malvel Miloive LaMalva. If according to Goyish law, according to secular law, if they would force the loiva to pay the interest to the malva, then b'dineinu machzirim malva l'loiva. Then according to Jewish law, according to Yiddish law, you'd have to give back from the malva to the loiva. Kol shilu b'dineim ein mitziin miloiva l'malva. But if by the non-Jewish law, they would not require the guy to pay ribis. So b'dinenu ein machzirin mimalva l'loiva. Then according to our laws, we would not be able. We wouldn't make him give it back. Right? Meaning, if it's enough of a ribis that the goyim enforce it, so then he's required to give it back. Right? Meaning, why? Because if the goyish court requires him to pay ribis, that means it was arranged. It was ribis ketzutza. It's a daraisa, because that's when the goyim enforce it. Meaning, if a guy going according to the secular courts, at least back then, a guy goes to a guy lends Reuven lends Shimon money, and then with no interest, and then when he pays it back, it says he wants interest. So the courts are not going to uphold that, the non-Jewish courts. So Mamela, even if he gives ribis, the Jewish courts will not make him give it back. Right? That's an example. So Amrle Abai Rav Yosef v'klalahu. Is this a set rule? I guess it's kedai to chazer. What sa b'sa is? So sa b'sa is that you're not allowed to borrow a measurement of whatever it could be, anything, grain. Let's say flour. You can't borrow a 5-pound bag of flour and pay your friend back 5-pound bag of flour, because the prices may fluctuate in the interim, and therefore you're going to be over on ribis. So that's exeter the rabbanon. So the one is saying, well, you have sab b'sad the b'dineim mitzin milayv l'malva. But according to the goyim, if you borrow a 5-pound bag of flour, you're going to have to pay back a 5-pound bag of flour. And according to our halachas, let's say taka they did pay it back. He doesn't have to give back the flour, right? So it's not a set rule. Because by the goyim, the reason is because the reason why they're not making go back is because they don't look at it as a loan. They look at it as you gave it to him to watch. So you gave him a 5-pound bag of flour to watch, so you give it back. Now the Ravashi. So how about a mashkin that did not knock off the debt? According to them, you're going to take it from the loiva to the malva, meaning this is talking about where a guy lends money, and as a mashkin, he gives him his field to use. He gives him his field, and when he pays back the loan, he'll get back his field. So a way to pay back the loan would be for the lender who has this field now. He can eat the fruits that grow from this field, and he'll use that to go towards paying back the loan. Right? So if you have a mashkin without this nichyos, literally means without the subtraction, right? Meaning it's a loan where the guy is the structure is that the lender is not supposed to take the fruit, right, as his payment, and he does. So we're going to take it back from him, right? Because that's what the secular court's going to say on Talmud Beis. And according to our halachos, we're not going to take it. We're not going to take it back from the malva to the loiva, right? So, because Rashi says it's only avak ribis, because sometimes the field doesn't make the fruit, so meaning it doesn't grow. So Malay inu b'taras zvini asaliyadav, because they look at it as not they don't look at it as a ribis, they look at it like a sale. So therefore, it doesn't mess with our rule. So I look at Gemara asks, "Ela kol sheilu b'dinem to come Rav Safra, my osalash minan," and this that it said, right? That Rav Safra said, this meaning my osal. What's the chiddush then? Right? Meaning, if it's only talking about interest of ribis ketutza, right? And we're saying that the chiddush is that if the goyim force the guy to loiva to pay it, so we're going to make the guy pay it back. So what cases are there? What is the case? What's he coming to include? Says this is what he's coming to include. According to the goyish rules, they would pay back the loiva to the malva. So according to us, we would give back from the malva loiva. My new. What is it talking about? Ribis ketzutza, ribis daraisa. Ukid Rabbi Lazar, like Rabbi Lazar, who holds that ribis daraisa has to be given back. Kol she'ilu b'dineim ein motzim b'dineinu ein machzirim. And according to our rules, meaning according to their rules, if they don't give it back, so then our rule, if they don't force the levy to pay it, so our rules are not required to give it back. Ribis mukdemes, ribis mucheres. That's talking about ribis that went first and advanced ribis, or ribis that came later. Like we said, one of the main differences, at least the one basic difference between ribis deraisa and ribis rabbanon, is ribis deraisa is that the ribis gets paid back together with the loan. But if the ribis gets advanced, meaning you go take a loan, and you, in order to get the loan, first you have to give him $20, then you have to pay back the loan. So that's ribis mukdemis. Ribis mucheres is that you pay back the loan, and then later on they charge you interest. So that the goyim would not make how do you call it? They wouldn't enforce it. And here, but the Yidden would be an Isser, but the Yidden are not going to say that you have to give it back because it's the Rabbanon. Okay, let's do a little bit more. This next Gemara really hard. So, should we go a little weiter, or is the Ilam, or should we call it a night? I don't know. Let's just start.
I say call it a night.
Call it a night. Yeah, it's 10:40.
In my humble opinion.
Yeah. I think it's a good idea. Well, because anyways, it's a long sugi. It goes for an amud and change.
I mean, I do want to let my wife know that I'm alive still.
Your mama's a good husband.
No, she's probably done already, and she's probably upset with me. But at least I should let her know I'm alive.
Okay. Baruch Hashem. Tell her you're doing hachana l'kabbalas hatayra.
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to help tonight.
Anyways, okay, good. So let's say till.